Hello and welcome to the Critically Curious on a Monk, and today, yes, we are in Age of Mythology Retold. It is October after release, and we've got another update. This is another kind of like patch performance bug fix kind of update. They've done a few balance changes as well, so we're going to go over a few of the patch notes just to kind of see where we're at and what they've changed to the game. Once again, guys, if you're trying to keep up with Age of Mythology Retold, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing update videos when they release patches, DLCs, etc. as this game progresses. We missed the last one on account of my son being born, so you'll have to forgive me for that. Anyway, let's get stuck into this video. Now, I should mention that we're only going over, the standout changes here, because there's been a lot of changes. I think every single update we've had so far, they have produced quite a lot of changes, that being balance fixes or just, bug fixes, those kind of things. They've also reworked some of the missions as well, the campaign missions. We're not going to go over absolutely everything, but what I will do is include the link to the full patch notes down in the description for you. So first of all, we have got many fixes, stability and performance issues across the board with the game, both on PC and console. Personally, I think this is a good sign. We need the game to be a little bit more stable, especially in those later stages, so the more the better. We've also had achievements fixed. Apparently some players will actually get any achievement before fulfilling the criteria. Personally, I've had achievements not track at all, so hopefully more work will be made on this in the future. We've also had several graphic changes and improvements too. There's also been several changes to the UI. Now, one of those changes is the Norse favor accumulating properly. But the one I'm glad to see fixed is notifications of a full building queue production can no longer now be spammed across your map or spammed across your screen. There's also been several changes and improvements to both controller and Xbox users, which I'm really happy with. For example, Easy Military Drag Select is now an available option on the Xbox. Not something I've seen, but something I'm eager to look at. And added navigation waypoints to controller minimaps. All these are just little things, but hopefully will help make the game better in future. There's also been a number of fixes added as well. There has been a lot of fixes. Like I said, I am going to include the full patch notes down in the description of the video so you can check those out. All of these are just minor things, but again, I feel like the more things that get fixed, the more we are all going to be able to enjoy this awesome game. The one thing's been changed I'm not entirely sold on, however, right at the top we have got Herdables now die to one hit to prevent unintended favor gain by the Norse players. Now, personally, I actually think it's difficult, especially early game, to even get a decent amount of favor. So the fact that that's kind of been a little bit nerfed there is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think a lot of people already avoid playing as the Norse. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens to those player counts. But the one I think is the best is that when casting the Citadel over a town center, one it's actually researching in order to age up, that no longer resets the progress. I unfortunately done that in a game only yesterday, so I'm really grateful that that has been changed. Something that that I think needed it. Also, regents no longer considered as part of the army, so when you select your entire army, your regent isn't going to be dragged into that too. We've also had a number of fixes for campaigns and campaign levels. So if anyone's enjoying those campaigns and they've struggled on something, hopefully one or two of those issues have also been fixed now. Next, we're on to the good stuff. We have had some major god updates and changes. Now, most of these are quite small, but some of them might actually surprise you. First of all, Achilles has had its speed reduced from 5.5 to 5.3. We've also had Poseidon's hero changed as well from 5.75 to 5.6. We've also had changes to some of the Greek myth units, which includes the Centaur, who's had its total attack reduced from 28 to 21. Ra's also received a very minor change here where Skin of the Rhino has reducing research time from 30 seconds to 15. We've also had two other god powers change. Now, first of all, we have the Locust one, whose damage has now been buffed, only by a little bit, but it's still been buffed. We've also had meteor damage reduced. Now, it should mean that your town centers aren't destroyed in one go now, in one hit. It's going to take a second meteor. We've also had a buff to the War Turtle and a nerf to the Mummy. And really interestingly, we've had almost a complete rework of the mercenary units that the Egyptians had. So their bonus damage, their hack, their hit points, their training time is all been buffed. So hopefully you use them a little bit more. Loki's infantry building speed reduction has been reduced from 25 to 10% as well. So you took a big nerf there. And there's been a positive change for Freya as well. The God Power no longer inflicts friendly fire on its basic attack, which I think is really good because that was kind of stopping people from using it. There's also been a change in Granite Blood. In the Rock Giant's hit point has been reduced from a 40% buff down to a 20% buff. Now, when it comes to the Atlanteans, they have something called the Tartanus or Tartan's Gate. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it like rips a hole in the world and you get like these howl demons spawn up. That's received a major buff. The hack armor has been increased from 25% to 35%. Pierce armor. The spawned minions now chase enemies further, and the maximum amount that it spawns has gone up from 6 to 7. They also got a buff to Implode, something that I consider already to be one of the most powerful spells in the game. Its radius has increased from 35 to 40. It can now suck units in even faster, so you've got less chance of escape, and it now reveals line of sight to all players. But there we have it, guys. That is everything I want to talk to you about in this video. There's been some interesting changes. It's going to be interesting to see how this actually affects the game of play, whether it changes the strategy at all, whether perhaps you stay away from Norse, because there was a little bit of an impact there with Norse's favor gain. Ultimately, these were all very, very small changes, quite numerous. However, there was a lot of things that I didn't go over. So like I said, do check out those patch notes. But I'm just really glad to see this game constantly getting these updates. I think this is the third update. I think this is update 3 since launch. It's just great to see it constantly get these updates, constantly get these changes. Hopefully we get some more news about the upcoming DLC. I know that it's supposed to be being launched before the end of the year, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly when that pops out. But anyway, I've been a monk, we've been a Critically Curious, and I'll see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.